How many times have I read The Secret History? 8, 9, 10? I've honestly lost count at this point. And if you love Donna Tartt as much as I do, you're also likely familiar with the feeling of unique distress at having finished a truly excellent book and not knowing where to turn next. Luckily, there are a few books out there that, while they'll never replace The Secret History, do come close with very satisfying stories about close groups of friends at school who have dark secrets. Imagine if Richard and his friends were into Latin instead of Greek, and if Richard were more of a bystander than an insider, trying to untangle the truth about a mysterious death that happened at his school decades ago. That's how I would describe The Lake of Dead Languages by Carol Goodman. Jane Hudson is a Latin teacher who takes a job at the school where she was once a scholarship student. When two of her current students die under suspicious circumstances, Jane starts to suspect that someone is reenacting the events that took place during her time in high school. To find the killer, she has to re-examine her past to discover what really happened when 3 of her friends died. Similar to The Secret History, this novel has a suspenseful plot full of twists and turns. I also really enjoyed the many references to Latin literature. And if you like The Lake of Dead Languages, Carol Goodman has also written several other entertaining writing and academia-themed murder mysteries, such as River Road, The Widow's House, The Seduction of Water, Arcadia Falls, and The Ghost Orchid. 5 quirky friends find each other at university and form a clique whose drama eventually turns deadly. Sound familiar? The likeness by Tana French is definitely inspired by The Secret History, but don't worry, it's no knockoff. French's novel is an entrancing and memorable story that stands all on its own. The likeness riffs on a what-if scenario posed in The Secret History. What if the friends all bought a house and lived there together? There's a wonderful scene in The Secret History when Richard and Charles discuss the idea of living together happily ever after in Francis's mansion. Needless to say, things go south and this dream is never realized. So the likeness starts with that premise. What if the friends really did buy a house and live in it together? What terribly juicy drama might ensue? And French includes a fascinating twist. One of the friends is found dead, and she just happens to be an exact doppelganger of one of the detectives on the Dublin murder squad. The undercover operations unit cooks up a rather ethically questionable plan. They won't tell the woman's friends that she's dead, but that she had a close brush with death, and indeed appeared to be dead, but that she's actually now recovered. And the detective is going to impersonate her and infiltrate the friend group to find out what happened. While the premise sounds a bit far-fetched, French includes enough detail, such as how the detective studies photos and videos from the friends to mimic the woman's mannerisms to make it believable. And the whole time, we as readers are not really sure whether the friends and potential suspects actually buy it or not, which introduces a substantial element of suspense. So this detective needs to find out who stabbed the woman and why. But as she becomes emotionally entangled in the friend group, other motives enter the picture and the investigation turns into a giant mess. If you enjoy the likeness, you might also like Tana French's novel The Secret Place, which is a murder mystery set at a girls' boarding school. And of course, all of her novels are excellent. Marisha Pessel's 2006 debut novel received lots of press attention and a 6-figure advance, and here again, we have a novel clearly influenced by The Secret History, but with its own unique take. It's narrated by Blue Van Meer, a studious, awkward teenager who moves frequently from state to state with her dad, who's a professor of political science who goes from one short-lived teaching gig to the next. This year, Blue and her dad land in North Carolina just in time for her to begin senior year at the St. Galway School, where she's drawn into the orbit of a charismatic teacher and her exclusive clique of students. When suspicious deaths occur, Blue has to figure out what the heck is going on and uncovers a shocking conspiracy in the process. This book has a quirky and unique writing style that I think at times doesn't quite succeed, but despite its flaws, I still find the novel to be an entertaining and memorable entry into the genre of dark academia murder mysteries. It also has an interesting spin in that the central relationship is the one between Blue and her dad, when many of these novels don't really talk much about the character's parents. Pessel writes movingly about a dad who truly cares about his daughter and how their relationship changes as Blue seeks her own knowledge and independence. Ninth House is like The Secret History, but with magic. The premise is that Yale's secret societies all specialize in unique forms of magic, which is what enables their alumni to gain and hold on to power in the real world. Our main characters are part of Lethe House, the titular ninth house, whose role is to monitor and regulate the other society's magical rituals. Of course, things go wrong when our narrator, Galaxy Stern, realizes that the suspicious death of a local woman might be tied to one of the secret societies. This novel stands out in its well-developed characters, fascinating world building, and of course, gripping plot twists. I spoke a bit more in depth about Ninth House in my last book video about literary quotes, which you can watch if you're interested. This one's a bit different from all the others in this list. It was not influenced by The Secret History, as it was published earlier in 1961. It's not a murder mystery, and unlike the other books in this list, which are all pretty long, it's so short that it could be considered a novella. But if you're here for the weird teacher with a click vibes, I highly recommend this one. Jean Brodie is a teacher at a girls' elementary school in Edinburgh in the 1930s. Not just any teacher, but one who deviates from the curriculum and breaks the rules in pursuit of teaching the girls what she thinks really matters. She instructs the girls to open their textbooks in case any so-called intruders come by, and then spends the class pontificating about art, her travels, and her love life. She selects a group of her favorite students to mentor, hoping to make them la creme de la creme, and meddles in their lives, making the kinds of predictions, in the way adults sometimes do, that hang over the girls for years. Eventually, one of them rebels and betrays Jean Brodie to the school administration, who finally have enough reason to fire her from her post. The question of which student did this and why serves as something of a mild mystery that does create suspense, but ultimately most of the book is a character study, one that jumps back and forth in time to unpack the ways in which an iconoclastic adult influenced, for better and for worse, the lives of her students over decades. Do you have any additional book recommendations that capture that special secret history vibe? Feel free to drop those in the comments, because we can never have enough dark academia in our lives. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.